Well, first of all, thank you very much, and thank you to give me, the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Islamic banks. First of all, this is this conference this year. It became the 25th anniversary of the conference, which means that we were very happy to continue for the past 25 years with this kind of conference, because it is a good time or a good place to have a debate. I believe personally that Islamic banks did a lot of things, and still they have to do more. That when we start 40 years ago, and this is something which is also we want to say to you, that the first Bahraini bank, Islamic bank, which was started 40 years ago, and it was created at that time by Mr. Abdul Latif Janahi, who was the promoter of Bahrain Islamic Bank. He was the first managing director for the bank. I think that Islamic banks did a lot of products, or too many products, and also did a lot of good things. Have we reached to the maximum? No, we have not reached to the maximum. I think that there are a long way to achieve what we want to achieve. But also to enable you to achieve, you have also to have a flexible system whereby Islamic banks can work, because sometimes we would like to work, or we like to work, but we have problem with the accounting standard, we have problem with the IFCB on the capital adequacy thing, we have problem with the regulators, because regulator also has to understand the risk, to understand the products, and to issue regulation which they protect both public and the financial institution. So therefore, we cannot say that we have reached to the maximum, but we have to say that we did a very good job in the past 40 years. Well, first of all, let me say something which I always repeated. Without Bahrain, I think that you will never see Islamic banking. Bahrain in 1985 took the initiative to set up within the central banks a division looking after the Islamic banking. And I think that they have a very good vision at that time for the Islamic banking, and I think that they were in the right directions. Always, banking is a risk. You cannot eliminate risk from the banking, because there is no banking if there is no risk. But you have to do a calculated risk to avoid high risk and to make sure that you are learning. You know that how many times we have a crisis? Since 1930 till now, I think that many crises we were facing, financial crisis. But that does not mean that the European and the Western banks stop the business. No. What is going wrong? They start to correct it. In the 80s, banks suffered from the Latin America crisis, Asian crisis, and part of the European crisis. But what they did is they start putting the rules, and they put the systems, and they start to understand the risk associated with these kind of transactions. It is a kind of a learning curve. I mean, you cannot say that I will not do this, because if you don't do this, that means there is no business. Well, Baraka was one of the first Islamic banks created for the international. We are now located in 16 countries with over 700 branches, and our total staff is about 13,000 staff, and our balance sheet is about $25 billion. Maybe we could call ourselves the largest Islamic bank who has a presence in these kind of countries, 16 countries, and maybe also the largest Arab bank because we have 700 branches outside our territory. Baraka, alhamdulillah, has a lot of initiative, a lot of business, a lot of ideas which they created. And we like to thank God, and also to thank Sheikh Salih Kamil for all his contribution for the past 35 years in the Islamic banking. Yes, we are the first Islamic bank in Europe. We create one in London, and now we are creating the first digital Islamic bank in the world. We created in Germany through Baraka Turk. Baraka Turk, as you know, that has about 224 branches in Turkey, and we created in Berlin because there are close to 4 million Turkish people working in Germany, and we thought that we could offer to them Islamic through the digital banking. Well, I have to admit that it was a lot of difficulties at that time. Neither we know how to explain our idea to the regulator, nor the regulator understand what we are talking, because it is a different subject. But alhamdulillah, as I say that in 1985, Bahrain took the initiatives and create what we call it the division within the central bank to enable them and us to deal with them. And that's why we succeed. But complication, difficulties, no, there was a lot of complication, a lot of difficulties, a lot of laws has to be changed. And we tried to do it gradually, step by step.